The mountains of Tyria rise high above the land and serve as recognizable landmarks wherever they lie. Some are important for different story beats throughout the game, some serve as remarkable gameplay moments, and some are just plain beautiful. Today, I want to go over the top 10 mountains across the entirety of Guild Wars 2. Let's get started. In the number 10 spot is the Citadel of Flame. This is a massive fortress that is the home headquarters of the Flame Legion, one of the 4 Char High Legions that served as one of the main antagonists during the original release of Guild Wars 2, as well as the first Living World season, but whose story has developed a lot through the Icebreath saga, where the Flame Citadel is a notable part of 2012 Guild Wars 2 because it serves as the 5th dungeon in the game, where you explore all throughout this mountain, completing many different challenges, killing many different bosses, and so on. But I think it does look pretty cool. It is a major mountain on the edge of the Blaze Ridge mountain range, which is a location that I really want to explore more of in the future, but at least we get to experience this, where technically this location is actually a volcano, where all volcanoes are mountains, but not all mountains are volcanoes, where to simplify and dumb down a lot of geology and whatnot, volcanoes can erupt magma turn lava, whereas mountains just vibe there. Where in the world of Tyria, we have a variety of both normal mountains and the special death mountains. In the number 9 spot is Thunderhead Peaks. This is the one time on this list that I want to talk about a group of mountains instead of a singular one, because when I look at Thunderhead Peaks, I kind of view it as a whole area, but if you want a specific peak, I choose this one, where this entire map encompasses a large part of the southern Shiver Peaks, where this area of the world was home to the Deldramoor dwarves and houses many important locations, most notably Thunderhead Keep, where as you explore this entire area, you will come across many important dwarven things. But as you do explore the map, you will be going across mountain after mountain, where the southernmost part of the map is the ice flow, where the waters begin to flow into the waters that meet the Myra Sea and the Elon River. But you can journey up and up the mountains all the way to Thunderhead Keep, where it is quite a journey. But you can also go down the mountain in a very fun way using your roller beetle, where there are just so many different areas of this map that are so cool. With many different mountain peaks, cliff faces, and more, you got the Howling Cliffs, the Weeping Crest blending into the Auditorium, the cliffs where the Dwarven Catacombs are built into, and just so many other great areas. It really is a fantastic mountain-based map. And the number 8 spot is Destruction's Mole. This is a volcano located in Ember Bay and is located right at the start of the zone at the Infernal Cape, where when we look at Ember Bay as a whole, there are many cool volcanoes. Notably, there is a Chalice of Tears, which houses one of the greatest jumping puzzles in the game, but when we look at the volcano itself from an outside perspective, this is definitely my favorite one in the map, but shout out to all the others, where we have what can best be described as a very classic, traditional volcano with a metal twist, where this is a relatively symmetrical mountain that goes up and up and up. There's lava flowing down from the top that meets the ocean below, but as you get up towards the top, you have multiple epic looking skulls that look out towards the rest of the bay. Their eyes and nose are glowing red, and lava is spewing out of their jagged mouths. They have horns protruding from their skulls, and they're just super cool looking. And as you get to the top, you have the Caldera. And some people may remember this spot from my top 10 rocks video, because you come up here when you are doing the strange rock adventure, where all in all, this is just a great volcano. In the number 7 spot is Draconic Mons, that stay in the Ring of Fire island chain and head northwest to this map. Where Ember Bay is a zone that has several volcanoes on it, Draconic Mons itself is entirely a volcano, where the only way to enter the zone, lore-wise and excluding waypoints, is to ride a submarine under the ocean and up through a tunnel. At the bottom of the map is the Boiling Sea, and featured in the center is the Titan's Throat, where the entire map is a vertical landscape where you're slowly making your way up and up the map, fighting against different enemies and completing different events along the way, where it is just so cool that you are exploring the inside of a massive volcano, and it is such a unique experience. But if you do the story, the final story mission from the episode this map was a part of has you going through the Gate of Fire at the top of the mountain, falling down and down and down the Titan's Throat, and eventually reaching the magma chamber of this volcano, where you have the rogue human god Balthazar and the elder dragon Primordus, where you eventually fight Balthazar's twin hounds in order to complete this story mission. But this is such an epic experience, where you have a human god, an elder dragon, and you are inside of this massive magma chamber inside of this volcano. Truly an incredible experience. But one additional fun fact is that the name is inspired from Olympus Mons, which is the tallest volcano on Mars and is approximately tied to be the largest known mountain in the solar system. And the number 6 spot is Augury Rock. This is an incredibly important lore location that features a major meta from the Path of Fire expansion and is the location of one of the most important moments in the original Prophecies campaign in the original Guild Wars, where Augury Rock is located in the Crystal Desert in the lands known as the Elone Riverlands. It has served as a landmark for individuals traveling through the Crystal Desert, but inside of the mountain lies the Hall of Ascension. This is a location which people from all over the world would travel to in order to gain ascension, in order to commune with the gods, where many have tried, but it wasn't until 1072 after Exodus when a group of Ascalonians and Shining Blade ascended and gained the gift of true sight in order to face the Mersat, where many years later, this place still serves as a location that many come to in order to attempt to gain ascension. In modern day Guild Wars 2, you have a special task, a vista, a point of interest, and many different events, including an event where you must defeat the branded Josel Escher as a part of the Path to Ascension meta. There are some really cool achievements in this place that I loved doing back when Path of Fire originally released, and the lore importance of this location with how it fits into the Flameseeker prophecies and how the events that transpired here during the original Guild Wars just makes it such an amazing location. In the number 5 spot is Mount Gnashington. This is a location that I talked about pretty recently in my Story of the Scrypt video, where this is a massive mountain located in Brisbane Wildlands that makes up a good chunk of the zone. This is a mountain that sits by itself, and the Scrypt have burrowed out large caverns throughout the mountain and have founded the city of Scritsburg. This is one of, if not the largest Scrypt community in the world of Tyria, and is considered by some to be the center of Scrypt culture, where all throughout the mountain you can find many different Scrypt just wandering around and doing their own thing. There are so many different locations in this mountain with many different map completion objectives that you can complete. Alongside all of that, there are also a decent amount of fun different nooks and crannies that you need to go out of your way to see, and I just love that. There is so much to do in this mountain, and it's always a fun experience to come through here. Where another cool part about this place is that the mountain is the source of the Jest River that runs through the Brisbane Wildlands and into the Metiker province, which is one of my favorite rivers in the entire game. In the number 4 spot is Anvil Rock. This is another incredibly important lore location that has some super cool lore tied to it. And similar to Augury Rock, you can come to this location in the original Guild Wars campaign, Prophecies, but it does play a bit less of an important role in that campaign, where this mountain exists in the zone of the same name where there isn't too much going on here. You can explore the area, vanquish the area, find a town here, there's a little bit of questing to be done here, and is connected to several other areas, where I think a lot of players don't realize that Anvil Rock is actually in Guild Wars 2. The finale to the Iceroot Saga introduced Dragonstorm, that massive battle between Primordus, Jormag, and the allied forces of Tyria, where we take a chopper from the Eye of the North to arrive at the battlefield, at Anvil Rock. Where if you look to the western side of the arena, you can see Anvil Rock rising high above the battlefield, but because of the actions of Primordus and the conflict going on here, it looks a little bit different than how it used to. But I mentioned that this place is pretty important in the lore. Anvil Rock looks like and is called Anvil Rock for a very specific reason. Many millennia ago, the Great Dwarf was an ancient being of tremendous power who fought against the Great Destroyer, one of the champions of Primordus, and the Great Dwarf is the individual who forged the Dwarven race, and he forged them upon Anvil Rock itself, where Anvil Rock had served as an incredibly important location for Dwarven leaders to meet before their civil war, and in both Guild Wars and Guild Wars 2, it is a pretty incredible location. In the number 3 spot is the Durmand Priory. This is the monastery that is home to the Order of the Durmand Priory that is an incredibly important lore location, but it is built into a massive mountain in Lornar's Pass. This is a very unique looking mountain that I have loved for a very long time. It is a massive landmark in the Shiver Peak Mountains, which is really saying something because there are so many cool mountains all across the Shiver Peaks, where I just love this entire area. The mountain itself, the valleys around it, this incredible bridge, and then the monastery itself. The Durmand Priory is such a cool order, and I love exploring the insides of the priory with all the different details, lore books, statues, cool artifacts, and so on, where I just love how there is this massive location in the Shiver Peaks that you can come to in order to meet a massive order of scholars who are working to learn more about Tyria. It's kind of like my YouTube channel in a way, but this mountain is just so cool looking and is one of my favorites in the game. In the number 2 spot is Sunqua Peak. Now this might be a bit of an interesting one for some people, where I have quite a bit to say about this, where right off the bat, most people will probably recognize this name from their fractal Sunqua Peak, where this is one of the most recent fractals to be added to the game, and it is a pretty cool fractal. The normal mode version is probably one of the lesser liked fractals, whereas the challenge mode is one of the more well liked. And this is also a location that you can come to in the original Guild Wars. you can come to Xingje Island and explore all the different places around this mountain, including the zone of Sunqua Vale, where there isn't really a specific peak in this game that we can call Sunqua Peak. We're coming back to Guild Wars 2, we can go to Cantha and head over to the Saitung province, which is just east from the mountain, and overlooking the Xingje Monastery is this beauty. I absolutely love this mountain range and the massive peaks here, including the large central one that I think we can call Sunqua Peak, where the fractal of Sunqua Peak takes place about 50 years after Winds of Change before Guild Wars 2. And of course, it's a fractal, so it's not necessarily our reality, so we don't really know what this place looks like in-game, except for the sneak peek here, where this is one of my most requested zones in the game, where I really want to head to the western half of Xingje Island and explore all around here. But even in the Saitung province, I love looking over here and looking at Sunqua Peak because it's just so beautiful. But now for the number one spot, for my favorite mountain across the entirety of Guild Wars 2, and it has to go to Mount Maelstrom. This is a massive volcano that is located in an area of the world now known as the Steam Spur Mountains, where this volcano erupted in between the events of Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2 and turned this corner of the Shiver Peak Mountains into what we see today, where the snow in the region melted, which caused the Steam Spur Mountains to form, and the Steam Spur Mountains themselves host some pretty cool locations, where Timberline Falls and Mount Maelstrom are some of my favorite maps in the entire game. Where yes, Mount Maelstrom is the name of the map that hosts the volcano of the same name, where this volcano is so cool and important it got an entire map named after itself. Around the map you can find cool spots like the Hidden Garden, Rata 10, and the Infinite Coil Reactor that is home to the Crucible of Eternity dungeon. But taking up a massive part of the map is Mount Maelstrom itself, where this is such a cool looking volcano and there are so many different things going on here, where I love how many different aspects to this mountain there are, where you have the base of the mountain which features many different tasks and some cool camps, but then you can start going up the mountain to find more stuff as well. And then you can even go inside of the volcano. You have a ton of sprawling tunnels that you can explore. There's a roller beetle race that takes you all throughout this area that is fantastic. You can explore the Caldera. There's a massive world boss that spawns here. You can climb all the way up the mountain to get a fantastic vista and also find a fantastic location for you to jump, glide, or fly into from. Where overall, I just really love the vibes of this entire area, how much content there is, and just how beautiful this location is. I also have a ton of nostalgia of exploring this location for the first time all the way back during vanilla, and I still love coming through here today. And that's my list. I hope you enjoyed. As always, these are my opinions, and I would love to know what your favorite mountains are in the comments down below. I also threw a few more mountains in the honorable mentions list down in the description. If you like this video, consider subscribing because only about 18% of my viewers are subscribed. I hope you are taking good care of yourselves. Have a good one, everyone.